our show, Done Talking. This is our very first podcast. My name is David,
I'm Daltron.
and we have our special guest with us today, and that will be Nazi Cotton and Chanel Dunn. Today we're going to be discussing the Tulsa shooting, Tulsa, Oklahoma shooting. As you know, this man was found at the scene with an abandoned car, and he got shot. So let's go in depth on that.
Well, he was tased first. Like
Yeah.
I think he called the police, and they showed
Because
they
he
arrived.
needed help.
Yeah, they showed up. I don't know. It looked kind of weird and sketchy, but he ended up getting tased and then shot, and then that was it.
Well, it seems like there was like multiple stories to it, but like it was a vague story that was given first. Pretty much, they showed up to the police said they were responding to an abandoned car. They got there. Matter of fact, I watched one of the videos, and the police were showing up kind of aggressive anyway. Like they showed the video. They were speeding towards the scene, and they got out the car, and they was already drawing the weapons when they got out the car. And when you see the video, it shows a man walking with his hands up, and next thing you know, he's getting tased, and then he's being shot.
Yeah, I thought it was weird because it was like so many police for one guy I guess because his car was on the highway or something. But I just thought that was weird. Anybody else want to chime in on that?
Okay, so couple of red flags already. Like you were saying with the multiple different, stories and things like that. This is the first time I'm actually hearing that he was tased at all. The stories that I've been hearing is that they tried to say he was tased, but he wasn't actually tased. The only thing that happened was he had got shot, and from that I did more research, and it seems to, I don't know now whether or not he was shot while he was on the ground or while he was standing at the window.
Well,
it seems to be like he got shot while he was at the window.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
going.
he
Thought,
was
like he was
going
going to
towards
the
the
car.
window,
and I
yeah.
guess they
And
tried
when they
to say he was reaching in.
Yeah,
the
they-
window was up.
So at that point, my thing is, if he got tased, how did he? What did he get tased and shot?
he got
at the same
tased and
time?
shot. Like what happened was when he was walking up to the video, they tased him. As he was getting tased, he fell to the ground, and from the video, it looked like they shot him while he was on the ground.
See, that's not the story I've been hearing. I've been hearing that because they thought he was walking
Yeah.
to the car
Yeah.
and trying
That's
to reach
right.
into the window,
Yeah,
that's why she shot him.
yeah.
They never said anything about him, her shooting him while he was on the ground.
Yeah.
So that was the story that I heard. But even still, if she shot him while he was at the window, let's say she shot him while he was at the window, and her defense is that she thought he was reaching into the car to grab a weapon or whatever the case may be. The window was up. Okay, we all know that.
Door was closed. Window
Door
was
closed.
Up.
The door was
Yeah.
closed. The window was up. So we
why'd you shoot
know
him?
Yeah.
that he wasn't reaching into a window. But on one of the helicopter cameras, it shows that he never actually was reaching into the window, but his hands were being lowered to his waistline. Now, there's a couple of different things that could have happened there. She says in one interview that she's a trained officer. She's trained to, spot the drug abusers and things like that, and all that stuff. So they're wondering why, he would ignore commands as far as when he was walking to the car and she was telling him to stop and he wouldn't stop.
Yeah, that was the only sketchy part to me.
They're wondering why he wouldn't follow commands, but it says later on that he was on PCP. And
What the heck?
the proof behind that is, okay, he probably was on PCP.
Well, they had
because they
PCP in the
found
vehicle,
PCP
in the vehicle, but it hasn't been confirmed that the PCP was in his system. So, I mean, either way, she's wrong. She whether she was responding
I don't see
because
why-
she was
some people,
scared.
they just be they'll rush him.
Yeah.
They don't take they don't follow commands, then they end up rushing them and then they get them down or something like that.
Well,
See,
they're training police officers to shoot center mass, like in every situation. Like they're treating these
I feel like
officers
they're
like
not
it's a
trained like
war
that.
zone.
I
Like
feel like they're not trained like that. They're just the training go out the window once they in the situation.
yeah.
Especially
I
if it's
don't
their
know.
first real.
I can see.
but
I
when
can
they're
see
shooting,
both.
they're shooting to kill.
I
That
feel like good guys going in doing drug busts every week are not killing everybody they run into
right.
because they go through this situation multiple times. So it's like. if
But
they
again,
got-
that says a lot about the officers as well. Like I said earlier, they're showing up to the scene like it was a hostile environment. So
that's
So
weird.
my question with that is, okay, if they're showing up like it's a hostile environment, for what reason did they show up like that if it was simply just a call saying that he need help with a broke down car? My question, like I have a ton of questions when it comes to stuff like that. Is like, okay, one, when they're recording, the first thing first with that, when they show up and they start recording from the dash cam and from the helicopters, whatever, we don't see anything before that. Number one. Two, no one else is there, so it always comes off so sketchy because, like, what made them show up so hostile? Number one. Number two, what exactly was the reason for a helicopter even being there
That's what I was
either?
Right,
I was
like,
So
why is
that's
the
why I'm just
helicopter
like,
on the scene?
what is
Alright.
the point of the helicopter? Like, it's one thing, okay, maybe they were trying to find the car, but there's been plenty of instances where people have broke down cars and they've called for help and no helicopter showed up.
Right,
Like, it doesn't
right.
make any sense to me.
I might be able to answer that question. The reason I think that they came with so many squad cars and a helicopter and everything else is because they did get multiple 911 calls about this guy. Apparently, he was making a scene in the middle of the street.
Oh,
And two,
Hey, where'd you read that? I didn't even know
right
about
here,
that one.
well, I see this in this article here, but two, it's like if your car broke down and you needed help, bear with me with this.
Right.
If your car broke down and you needed help, whatever the case may be, this is a two-lane highway. Why is it that his
It's in
car
the middle of the
is
street.
That's
not
right.
even in the middle, on the other
The
side of the
road,
street?
yeah.
So he.
Well, they're saying the car stalled in the middle of the street.
The car
But even if
stalled,
the
but
car
even
stalled,
still, why
you
is
can
he
get
in
over
it.
why is he on
Yeah.
oncoming traffic?
You could feel
Why
it.
didn't he just veer off to the right if he realized his car was stalled?
Right.
That's the
Why
thing.
did he go
Yeah.
off into oncoming traffic?
Right.
But that can explain the PCP he was
Yeah.
on.
Right.
So
Which is
That's what I
also
thought.
brings me back to her. If she was trained to recognize these things, first off, when you pull up, if somebody has a broke down car, you're not expecting for
really
it
a
to be
threat?
right
Right.
there in the middle of the street. Okay, yeah, people are on drugs and they can be a bit aggressive when they're on drugs. However, he doesn't have anything in his hand. If you're trained to recognize this thing, you should also be trained to deal with these type of situations. So with that being said, I don't think it would be logical for you to be trained to just go in and shoot the guy. I think it would be trained for you to try to get in, talk to him, calm him down. Or if he's getting aggressive, run, you take him down. Not being all abusive enough, but abusive and whatnot, but take them down. Don't
Like-
shoot them. And if you're gonna shoot them, why shoot center mass? Shoot him in the leg. Like, honestly, I don't think it was necessary to shoot him.
They shot him in the lung.
But
okay, so
So- You
shoot
let's
him
go
right in the
back-
chest.
Let's go back to the shooting real quick. She shot based off of her thinking that he was going for a weapon. I could see both sides with that because
I don't know about that one.
he's in the helicopter video. If you watch it real close, you can see that his hands
Are going back down.
going down to his waistline.
there's
Right.
Now, as an officer on duty, none of us have ever walked in their shoes, so
Mm.
none of us can definitively say what we would do.
Right.
So for them to see that he's one, on drugs, two, he's on the wrong side of the road when his car stalled, quote unquote, and now you're reaching down into your waistline and not following. First, you're not following commands. Then you're reaching down into your waistline. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but You're
But-
reaching down into your waistline. Why would you reach down
But
into your waistline?
let's take it-
if
let's
you
take
didn't- hold
into-
on, if you didn't have a weapon,
Mhm.
why would you reach down into your waistline as if you did? Now,
Well-
on the other hand,
He's loopy. That's
Yeah, he's
now on
loopy.
the other hand, that officer, like she said, could have shot him in the leg, could have shot him in the arm.
They're not even
Could've
trained to do
waited-
that though.
Could have waited till she actually saw a weapon, even
That's what I
something
feel
that
like.
looked
Yeah.
like it was metal.
Yeah.
Before she decided to take that shot.
I'm
All
about
she
to-
saw was
and-
his
and here-
hands lowered, and she took
And here's the
shot.
deal with that. Like, there's been multiple cases where officers are showing up on the scene. They're dealing with people on drugs. They're dealing with people who drop their hands below their waist or whatever, blah, blah. And the weapon is not drawn. They're not killing these people. They're immediately taking the person down. They tase them, whatever they got to do before it comes down to the weapon. Now, we can play this fact that it's a black man. I mean, I'm not a person who tries to get so caught up in it. But the facts is facts. It's truth is truth. These black men are getting shot by officers left and right. Black men are becoming an endangered species because of this. Like it's ridiculous. So he's a black man. He looks dangerous. You hear the conversation going on in a helicopter saying this guy looks like a bad dude. What makes him look like a bad dude? Because he's a big black guy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
What
that
does
was
a
also
bad
funny.
dude look
yeah,
like?
I
Like,
didn't
don't
agree with
understand
what
that.
he
Like,
said,
Right.
but it's like,
how can
yes,
you profile
these black
somebody?
people, these black people. Well, you can profile someone.
I mean, but like,
like
I mean, you
You
it's
kinda
weird 'cause you
can, but
kinda have
it's
to
just
at the
his
same time.
what he said. Yeah, like he said, you have to, but at the same time, it's like, all right. I mean, everybody, they have their reasoning for these things. Is like, may not be a good reason. I don't think. Honestly, like I said, I don't think it should have went down the way it did. I think he could have gone without being shot. And if he was shot, he could have been shot in the leg or in the arm, just not right in the chest. But going with the whole, these black men being shot, that is true. But the other side to it is, there's not just black people being shot. It's not
Yeah.
just black people
that's
being
true too.
killed.
The
It's
media,
And
the media,
the media is
yeah,
exactly.
that's true.
It's
Media
they're
gets
turning
behind
this
it.
entire thing into a race war, and everybody's going, "Oh,
That's true.
Black Lives Matter," and then you got the people countering saying all lives matter, and they're saying like, "Oh, well, no, you can't say that," but you can because it's only the black people who are recording. Black people so quick to pull out their camera phones and, I'm recording you. They're so quick to put everything on camera.
Well, can you blame
and
them?
that's
Because
why it seems as if it's just
The
black,
black
people
people,
being
yeah.
killed.
Well, that's how
It's not.
everything works.
I
in the
mean,
media.
that's
They
how-
can
that's
focus
the-
on a
They
small-
focus on one thing all the
specific
time.
thing.
All the
Yeah, because I
time.
think the numbers wise, it's not more black people getting killed than everybody else.
Right.
And I think a lot of times it's more poor black people in certain areas which when you have poor people, you have a high level of crime. So cops come in those areas and those people get killed a lot of times. Well, I guess not in every situation, but that's what it makes it. When they focus on one specific area,
Exactly.
it looks like it's larger than what it really is. So
Now, I have this thing, this article based off the Washington Post, and we all know the Washington Post is a very credible source. Now, they did a data chart based off of 2015 blacks versus whites killings, and we all know that this has been going on longer than 2015.
15, right?
But in 2015, it says here that police shootings. Okay, hold on. It says here that police shootings, the victims of police shootings were 50% white, while 26% black. So it's like
that's like
in
the
2015,
population.
in 2015 they killed more white people than they did black people.
Mm-hmm.
They're
And
not
this
gonna
year
say that.
alone,
They're not gonna
I
say
read
that.
in another article, this year alone, it was back in April, so that's 4 months into the year, they killed like 500 some odd white people already, as opposed to like 230 black. So it's like the rate for whites being killed,
White lives
is,
don't matter.
You
That's
know,
what they
yeah, it's like
That's
you
what
know
they're trying to
over
say.
doubled what black people are. So it's like just
So that-
because that's what you see in the media,
Right.
just
Yeah,
because
yeah,
that's
you
what's
can't. That's why I don't
But
jump
you-
on every
yeah, you
conversation
can't-
because it's
yeah.
like
oh, it's
I
only
want to
black
see the whole
people.
story first.
Yeah.
Black
Yeah,
people
which
don't
we
know
never
press.
see.
Yeah, the whole,
Which
some
we
of the
never
other
see.
shootings, they were all kind of a little sketchy because the more information came out, like sometimes they focus on when it first happened and then they kind of dwindle away. But if you look into the more information, it's not as like clear cut as people try to make it out to.
Right.
be.
Right.
It's like a flip side. To me, everything's situational. You gotta look
Everything.
at
Yeah,
one
situation.
specific situation.
Yeah, and
look at
peop-
all the facts and then judge it from then.
People try so hard to group every single
So,
thing
yeah,
together.
this is
It's just
racist.
like,
Yeah,
oh,
this
boom,
is-
they're black. We're adding that to the list.
I always say,
But it's
because
not
they be like-
always the
sometimes
case.
they be like, oh, it's a systematic thing for black people. Sometimes I'd be like, is even that is like situational. Like they try to say that in Hollywood, and I guess it's certain people in power can hold you back. I guess that's a system, but it really depends on where you at. Because like to me, if it's like systematic oppression for black people, I don't think it's a very good one because. I be looking at Will Smith, Denzel Washington, all these famous black people.
Right.
Beyonce, one
Right.
of the biggest stars in the world.
Obama.
Like they're
Right.
not stopping her at all. Like, I'm like
So,
you
and-
really,
That's a
and
whole nother
here's
story.
and,
you
and
really
here's
say
the
that
other
truthfully. Like,
and here's the other side of it too, man. Like black people, like we have a tendency of being aggressive. When cops already automatically show
are
up
you
to
judging
this.
all black people?
No, I'm just saying, like, we're speaking generally, like, and I think a lot of people could relate to this. Like, if they, as soon as a cop shows up on the scene, they're already catching an attitude, or they're already getting upset, or they're already being aggressive because they don't want to deal with cops. Now, granted, the other side of this, the other people, a lot of black people are on edge because of what they portrayed on the media, as we just talked about before. What they're seeing, what the media is portraying, what is happening between officers and black people, so they're already on edge. So it's always a flip side to it. There's always multiple stories to it. It's always like multiple various situations to it. So it's just like it's crazy. Like it's flip side. We as a black, like as an African American nation, we have to educate ourselves so we can protect ourselves. And on the flip side, the officers have to be more trained and they have to calm themselves down and realize that every situation is not a hostile situation. So going back to that real quick, I just want to state this, like the officers in Oklahoma, it's been reported so far in 2016, 19 people have been killed by police officers in Oklahoma, giving the state the sixth highest per capita rate of killings by police. So like they're like the sixth highest state of people dying in their state. So that says a lot about the police officers. Like they're showing up. Now I can't
But
speak
in that situation.
in that situation. Now I can't speak on each situation, each of those 19 situations, because you know any one of those people could have had a gun or something like that, and they could have pulled in on the cop, and the cop did their job in a well manner. But even still, police officers pulling your weapon should be a last resort. That's what it should be. It should be a last resort. You shouldn't be pulling your weapon out trying to kill someone, if they're unhostile, if they have their hands up, if they're complying, or even if they're not complying with your orders. There are other ways to handle the situation. This is why cops get pepper spray. This is why cops get nightsticks. This is why cops get tasers. So I'm like, these are other situations. These are other ways to handle the situation before it gets down to your gun. It should be a last resort. You're taught how to restrain people. You're taught how to do maneuvers to get people on the ground and put the handcuffs on them, so you don't have to use your gun. So the fact that the officers are running to their gun for the first thing, like you're showing up to the scene, pulling your weapon, and the guy clearly ain't got nothing in his hand, like, and it's other situations that they've shown up like that. They've clearly have nothing in here. They're clearly not being a threat. And like the guy, who was it? Eric Garner. They shot the guy while he was on the ground or something like that. Like
No,
he
that
was.
that was
a
a-
chokehold.
It was a
Yeah,
chokehold
yeah,
or something.
He got. Well, they was trying to restrain him. He wasn't going down. See, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like it escalated because he was resisting. But at the
But
same
the
time,
man's
he didn't have
telling-
to die.
But yeah, at the same time, the man is saying, "Listen, like if you was in that situation and you're telling the police officer, listen, I cannot breathe. Like you're saying, I
Well,
can't
if
breathe.
I was in that situation, they would have just arrested me.
I'm
Right.
saying,
I'm laying there.
Wait, wait, put your hands
I'm
behind me.
laying
Okay.
there.
All right. You know,
But a whole
I'm
bunch
so
of-
many black people though.
Like you
they
got
try to resist.
You can't
They
jump.
try to resist.
You can't
They-
skip over things.
Yeah,
like
they
Yeah.
that.
try
You
to
can't
state their case right there.
Right.
When that's what a judge and a jury is for.
I ain't
You know,
do
you know,
it.
your
What are you
parents say,
arresting
"Oh,
me
don't
for?"
go here, don't go there." Sometimes they tell you stuff to protect you. You may not listen to them. You be like, you go out anyway. You may not come home at night. Now, is it their fault they let you go out, or
No.
is it your fault that you disobeyed them? So, I think you gotta go step by step. That's why you gotta look at every situation differently, because that's just the way life is. Like,
yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's.
I don't agree with. I don't think he should have died. To me, it was more of an accident. Like they was on him. It was an accident. I don't think they meant to kill him. But at the same time, you don't be.
You don't
like,
be
choking
chokeholding
somebody,
somebody,
like,
right?
There's no way to restrain somebody.
No. Well, going back to what you said about people just already being on edge when cops show up. That's one thing people have to learn these days is at the end of the day, it wasn't you. You could be upset about all these situations. You could be
You're right
mad
about
about all
that.
this. You can think it's wrong. You can want to protest or whatever, but you can't take that on and make it your problem. Because at the end of the day, you can be in a town where the cops around you is nice, but when they show up, you being all aggressive, and they had no intent of being aggressive with you or anything like that. Like I've had plenty of encounters with cops, and they're all friendly. I've only ran into one cop who gave me a problem, and he really only gave me a problem because the person in the car with me was being a jerk. So it was like, okay. Other than that, if I didn't have the other person in the car with me being a jerk, we would have been chilling. Like, I've never had a problem with a cop who just being all whatever because I'm black. Like, I get there are cops who do stuff like that, but at the end of the day, if it didn't happen to you, why are you sitting here giving these cops a hard time who are simply just doing their job? Every cop is not the same. That's just like when you get mad and you sit there and you tell the cops, oh, all black people aren't the same. All black people aren't the same. But yet you sitting here judging
Yep.
every single cop.
Yep, like
you think
this-
you taking them all
Yep.
the same. Like, oh, they're all the same. They're all going to be
Assuming
aggressive. So
for
I'm going
you,
to be like, I'm
contradict
going to
yourself
just
all
be
the
all whatever. I'm going to just give them a hard time. You're now making yourself like the rest of the black people who you claim you're not. And you're now forcing the cop to be like the rest of the cops who you don't want them to be like. So it's a double standard.
Now, take it for how it is. If you do come across a racist cop and they're treating you unfairly, and even go as far as, putting their hands on you or whatever the case may be, your only job at that point is because, all right, let's look at it this way. The cops have belts loaded with weapons,
Right.
and everything like that, and you already know that they're entitled, and they can say what they want, they can put in the report
Put what they want, they
can
could tweak it however they want.
however they want.
Yep.
So at that point, being a civilian, if you do come across a racist cop or a cop that's just gone too far over the line, whatever the case may be, at that point, yes, you're angry. Yes, you feel some type of way. Yes, you want justice for the people. Yes, you want all this stuff. But at that moment, your only job is to sit there and comply no matter what. If you want to leave alive and you want to have
Right.
your day in court,
Right.
you sit there and you shut up and you comply no matter what. Okay, just do what they say. If they say get on the ground and roll around and lick the floor, get on the ground, roll around and lick the floor.
At this
Brush your
particular
teeth.
point,
Some
you
people
have to,
And
you
then
have to
when you
think
go
about
to
your
court-
your life. You have to think about your
Right,
life.
and then when you
at
go
this
to court,
point.
you fight it in court.
Yeah.
Tear them up over there.
You get a
150,000.
lawyer and you fight it in court. You do not try to prove your case
Right.
to these cops because they already have their mind made up.
Right.
Not all of them, but the ones that we're talking about here, they already have their mind made up on what they're going to do. So either you get with the program or
At
you
this,
die
yeah.
or you get severely hurt.
At this point, you have to swallow your pride. We a
that's
lot
the
of people
problem.
have
Nobody
a
wanna
have a
do that.
pride issue, and they're like, "Oh, I went through too much," or "Our people went through too much," or whatever. at this point you have to swallow your pride, because you got to think about, at this situation, if you're dealing with this type of police officer, it's a life or death situation. Again, like Nazi said, they have multiple weapons and multiple uses of things that can harm you and can hurt you. They know multiple ways to harm and hurt you. So at this point, you need to think about it. Do I want to go home to my family? Do I want to see my friends? Do I want to live another day? Or do I want to be prideful and
Try to
prove a point and risk myself getting extremely hurt or dying? At this point, you have to be thinking in a mind of survival. And survival is you do what they say, you comply, and like he said, you take it to court and you fight it. And you fight it hard. And I'm sure you'll take it to court, you'll get a backing, and you'll get a following, just as if you would have got a following if you got shot and got killed. This way, you're still alive.
Because nothing's official if you're at the scene making a scene.
Right.
Okay, you can have as many people there recording and saying, yeah, justice for the people and all that.
Right.
You can have all those people standing there recording, saying, yeah, brother, all that stuff. But it doesn't matter because you're not in a courtroom. It's not official. And everything becomes political.
Right.
So once it hits the courtroom, and you're fighting this case and you got all this backup and you're protesting and you got a good lawyer and you got this and you got that, your case has now become stronger. Now people can't deny it. They can't throw it under the rug. They can't, do all these things that they would normally do if somebody didn't know anything.
Right.
So just educate yourself on that.
Yeah, the police have no argument at that point.
Yeah, don't sit there and try to fight them and try to be, arrogant and egotistical and all that stuff. Just be quiet. Do what they tell you to do.
And I think what people have been doing, I think recording is good. Like if you get pulled over by a police officer, that is evidence. So even I see it in Walmart now. They have dash cams that you can buy for your car, and you can record everything that you're doing in your car. So it is good. It is good to have a recording that is evidence. So you turn on your dash cam or you turn on your phone. You let the cop know, listen, hey, I'm reaching for my phone or whatever. Or you have your phone out before he gets to the car. Whatever you got to do.
I was going to say, if you're going to do that, I think it would be best once you pull over. You see the lights turn on.
Yeah,
Once you
pull over, get your phone.
Start
yeah.
it
Just
right
start
then
recording. Yeah,
before he
whatever
gets
you
to your
got to
car.
do.
You can get the whole.
Yeah, you'll get the whole thing. You'll get
Right.
that.
But
They
I think you have to tell them that they're being recorded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You have to
because
say, excuse me, officer, you're being recorded.
it was like,
Blah, blah, blah.
just
Yeah.
just
I
to
don't
let you
think
know
you're
I'm
not-
recording this.
If I think if you don't do that, then they could just throw it out.
Yeah. It
So
won't be
you
no
have to
point.
let them know that they're being recorded. They should have, a lot of officers are now having what do they call
Body
it? Body cams.
Something
So
like that, like,
but that seemed like that's not helping because a
Even
lot of
though those
officers are
get
turning
deleted.
their body
or
cams
they
off.
They holding the footage.
They're
right,
holding the
first.
footage, right? So
I mean, I guess-
you have your own set of evidence. You want to protect yourself. You want to educate yourself. You do what you have to do. And on the flip side, any officers that might be listening to it, we want to thank all the officers that are doing a good job and who are doing the right thing, because we believe that all officers are bad. So, and people, we got to know that. We got to know that as a people as well.
I love
All
cops.
officers are not bad.
I love
Like,
cops.
yeah.
Encountered were
Real
all
problem.
white, and I got along with them great.
Right.
Even when I wasn't doing right necessarily. When they came rolling on the scene, I knew I was wrong.
Right.
I knew what I was doing could have got
Exactly.
me arrested. So what I'm
Same here. I
argue with
had
him
plenty
for?
of
I'm gonna
encounters.
sit there and I'm gonna kiss his butt, to try to get out of that. I'm not gonna be like, oh, what you want?
What you gonna
want?
do? What you gonna do? Right.
Why you messing with? I ain't doing nothing. No, I am doing something, and I'm gonna try to, just send you
everything I can.
roses after this if you let me
Go. Right.
I'm not gonna sit there and try to argue and fight with you when I know I'm wrong, and that's the problem with Black America. I'm sorry, that's wrong. That's what's
going
wrong with
there.
He's
y'all.
going there.
That's what's
got a
wrong with
ticket
y'all.
and
Y'all
he's going
don't
there.
ever think y'all wrong, okay? Every
That's my
time you
problem
could be
sometimes.
sitting
Yep.
there smoking weed, drinking, doing whatever you're doing,
The
stabbing
whole
somebody,
nine.
stabbing somebody, knowing
Wasn't
you're
me.
wrong.
Wrong.
And right when somebody of authority gets there, that's what y'all have an authority issue.
Yep.
Right when somebody of authority gets there,
Yep.
oh, I ain't do nothing. Oh, why you talking to me? Why you messing with me?
Damn, you have
Now-
a knife in his chest.
You're right. Now, there
I
are
watched
certain,
you do it.
situations where, like I said, the person genuinely wasn't doing anything. Either explain that to the cop, let him know, look, I'm a good guy just like you. You know, let's all just be cool here. But if he not trying to hear it, go with him. Do what he want. Do what you gotta do.
Comply.
And go to court because
Yep.
you weren't doing anything.
Anything wrong.
But if you were doing something, shut up.
Right.
Okay,
You have
just
no
shut up.
argument.
And that brings us to another
Take
point. Like, you
accountability
got to
for
take
yourself.
responsibility. Yes, accountability. You have to take responsibility. Got to take responsibility for your actions. People, we make choices in our lives. Everybody makes choices. Nobody can force you to make a choice. You make the choice. Okay, whether it's a life or death choice, whether it's a small choice or a big choice, you make a choice. So you're going to have to deal with the consequence of your choice. Every choice has a consequence. So you're going to have to deal with that. Okay? So you got to take responsibility. If you want to make the choice that you're going to smoke weed, get turned up, and then go driving, that's your choice. You're going to deal with that consequence. Now, you might have to deal with the consequence of being arrested by a police officer. You might have to deal with the consequence of getting DUI. You might have to deal with the consequence of getting into a major car accident and causing the death of someone or the death of yourself. But you made that choice. You made that choice. So you have to deal with that consequence. You have to always remember that in the back of your head. If I do this, what's going to happen if I do this? Same thing with good choices. You make a good choice, there's a blessing out of that choice. Something good is going to happen. You reap a good, you sow a good seed, and you're going to reap a good harvest. Period. So it's just like, you got to remember that. So
Now, everybody here has watched Cops before. Okay, everybody.
it's my
has
favorite
seen-
show.
Yeah, everybody has seen an episode of Cops. Now, on Cops, they are encountering predominantly white people.
Yes, sir.
Okay, white drug
Exactly. It's a
addicts,
whole
white
show.
this, white
Right.
that. They're mainly busting white people. Now, my opinion on this is, the white people, they sit there and they say, oh, you MF cop this and you jabroni that, and you know, all this kind of
Sweet
stuff.
Rome, Alabama.
But the one thing that they can't say is, you're racist.
Yup. Can't say
You're
that.
racist. They can't say you're racist because they're white. The cop is white. But you're still doing something wrong. So
Yep.
what do? They start calling them names. But since we're black, we can throw the racist
Yeah.
card out there. We can say, you're racist. You're this. You're that.
It ain't
Half the
always.
time
It's
how
not
it is.
always that.
It ain't
They're
always
just doing
that.
their
They're
jobs.
just doing their job,
You know,
and not
and
always
you're
that.
you're being
Ignorant. Let's call it what it
Okay, 'cause
is.
you
You're
had a
being
better word
ignorant.
than I
Yeah,
did.
yeah. Let's call it what it is. You're being ignorant because
You know,
you're not educating yourselves. Not everybody out here. Let's be honest. There,
short-tempered.
yeah.
Why are you
Let's
so
be honest.
short-tempered?
There is a
There's somebody
people out
hold
there
them
who
enough
are
and they was
still
walking
racist.
down.
There is a people out there who still act in those ways, but everybody is not that. Every white person that you encounter is
Black
not
people
that.
are the most racist people I ever met
You
in my
got
entire
that right.
life.
It flipped. It definitely
Black
flipped.
people are more racist than white people
Yep.
and other Asians.
Yep.
It's so sickening. It's
It
like,
flipped.
white people racist, white people racist. Excuse me, but what are you doing? How is it okay for you to post all these memes with now, okay, white people picking in the cotton field and you cracking the whip?
Like,
Yeah.
How does that
backwards.
make you any better than
That doesn't
the
make you
ones
any
you
better.
claim are racist? Like, you sitting
And
here
some can say
posting these
it's
memes and
comedy, but
it's supposed to
It's
be
not
funny,
comedy, no.
but it's not funny.
It's
You
not funny.
acting just like the people you claim you despise.
Yep.
Because if somebody made that, then obviously they may have put it out there as a joke,
But
some of that
still.
took root, you know,
But
inside of their
still.
heart. They-
Like the people, like it seemed like you're being. You would say it's okay for all these white people to experience what we did. I wouldn't wish that on nobody.
Anybody. And
I
first of
wouldn't
all,
wish it-
I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't there.
So,
I didn't get whipped.
we
Okay,
didn't get
I had it good.
Right. So I'm just saying, but like you can't. You're wishing that on them. You're wishing that they experience what we experienced. That's a horrible thing. That's not being forgiving. That's not being loving. That's not being kind. That's just wrong. That's not fair. You
You're
know.
just bitter.
Just being
bitter.
bitter and angry.
Yeah, your ancestors went through it, but you didn't go through it. So why sit there and hang on to the hurt of someone else? That's the other thing, going back to what I said before. You making it your problem. You were not there. You
It's okay
were
to
not
be
a slave.
Some
Yeah.
people are professional complainers. That's why. It's like
Okay.
they're not like going to the schools helping out the youth or nothing like
Right.
that. They just see a situation and they complain about it.
Exactly.
And they just move on to the next situation so they can complain about that.
And then let's not like we don't want to send the wrong message. It's not that we're saying that you don't be aware of these things. You don't be
Right.
aware, educated of your history
You
and what
need
your
to know.
people go through. You need to know just in case you do actually experience that situation. But at the same time, like my sister said,
Also, we're not saying either that there's not racism.
yeah,
'Cause
because
there is.
there
I do
is.
believe
There
that
is.
there is
There is
racism. But what we're saying is how you handle it can be, changed.
Right.
Not even
To me,
tweaked,
yeah.
changed.
Yeah.
Completely.
Okay, because how we handle it is so left field. A lot of these situations where if we would have just handled it the right way, if we would have just
Like Martin
walked in
Luther King
love,
had
if we
originally
would have
planned.
just,
Don't even get me started.
if
on
we
that.
would have just, had kept our heads leveled, saying, you know what, this has happened before, this has happened to my ancestors, and this has happened to, my brother and my sister, whatever, and they didn't have good results, but you know what, I'm going to sit here, yes, it's happening to me right now, but I'm going to make the choice to stay calm, stay cool, walk in love. I don't know. Some of y'all need to learn about Jesus. I don't know.
Well, that's the final
That's the other
word,
thing.
They
really.
beat the mess out of him.
You know?
Yeah.
And so they be like, y'all racist.
Do you see him?
Right. They cracked that man, like they beat that man to a pulp, like to his last, almost his last breath.
Exactly.
You didn't see- You know what I'm saying? Like they spit on him, they beat him up while they were like, throwing rocks, calling
Man,
him names,
watch
all
the Passion
kinds of
of the
stuff.
Christ. Ain't even half of it.
My
Right.
thing
Just
is,
watch
like,
that. Get a glimpse.
My thing is like to me, like certain people have different things they're just gonna have to go through. Like, unfortunately, black people may have to deal with racism. Not just
It's just what
what
we
it
got to
is.
deal
Yeah.
with it.
But
It's
I
how
don't
you
believe.
overcome it.
I don't believe Will Smith was like, man, I ain't gonna never make it in Hollywood because these
'Cause
people
all these
out here are
racist
racist.
people.
Yeah.
All these racist people. Like, look, he like one of the biggest movie stars ever.
Out there
To
kicking
me,
One of the probably
you
one
can
of the
use it as
richest.
an excuse, or you can use it as motivation to get to the next level. Like, to me, you're just gonna have obstacles. That's just part of it.
But that's
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah,
That's
racism is an
everybody.
obstacle. It's no different than you being handicapped or a bully picking on you in school or something like that. Like, to
But if
me,
you think,
it's a certain kind of obstacle, but they're all obstacles at the end of the day.
And
But
if
it
you
wasn't
look
anything
into the
like you can
Caucasian,
jump
the
over it.
different Caucasian races,
get
they
around
all have had their obstacles in their history.
Right.
The
They
Irish
got
people,
slavery in their history.
yeah, the Irish people, the Italian
nothing.
people, the all kinds, the
Right.
Polish.
Slavery
They
is not only in
What
America.
Jewish people do you hear complaining?
right.
Good. Let's not ignore the Holocaust.
They definitely jumped over and
Let's not ignore that.
got the obstacle, kicked it over.
and if you think about
Right.
it, it's just like, I feel like a lot of the time, not all, but a lot of black people are looking for handouts. They
Ooh.
want handouts. And
Everything
Like,
needs to be
right.
given to them
And
because they
I
experience
wanna
what
tell
they.
you
Yeah,
a
man.
funny story about the handouts. My aunt, when she used to live in the projects, she would used to have to take her pizza boxes in trash bags. Like she was bringing in trash or bringing in, old clothes or something, just so the people in her complex wouldn't come down and ask for pizza or ask, oh, can I have a slice of pizza or whatever the case may be. So just for them to eat in peace for one night, they would have to bring their food in trash bags. So it's funny to me to see how much, a lot of these people do look for handouts and they do, want that extra, whatever it is they can get for free and not have to pay for it. I think a lot of people are lazy. I think a lot of people, like he said, are just professional complainers. I just feel like they you gotta wake up. At some point, you gotta wake up and you gotta do something about it. And they say, "Oh well, we tried peaceful protests, so now we're gonna bear arms." What do
But
you
that-
think
it
that's
don't
gonna
make
do?
sense.
Right. What do you think
They
that's
want
gonna do?
another
That's gonna
civil
make
war.
It's gonna be
But
another
like,
war.
okay, so
worse.
and that's the next thing I was going to say. It's like, all right, they have this huge saying, history always repeats itself. I'm going to tell you why. It's because we make it. We make history repeat itself. Why? Okay, let's break it down real
People
quick.
can't let go.
They can't let go, like you said just now, they can't let go of what happened in the past. And now they see things happening. First of all, all this stuff with black people getting killed and all this racism, it never went away completely, okay? It's always been there, but now since everybody has technology, it's being put to the forefront and now everybody can see it. So now it's just being blown up. But it was always there. Okay, so we're going to keep on going. They're going to keep complaining about all this stuff and making all these big scenes about it, and they protest and all this stuff. But protests are fine, but then they start turning into riots. Now, I saw a video just the other day with these people jumping on this cop car, trying to pull the cop out the car, flipping it, lighting fires. You look like animals. You look like idiots. You look stupid. It looks like a jungle in the middle of the street. That being said, you have this kind of behavior because you're so angry. What is that going to cause? Okay, the cops are going to roll up with their guns, with their riot gear, ready to take y'all out. Why? Because you guys are complaining about them taking you out.
Right.
But you about to make them take more of y'all out. Okay. And then now, like, just like in Charlotte, they was rioting. It seems a bit more peaceful now, but they had the cops out in riot gear. And they got National Guards setting curfews. It looked just like the daggone Hunger Games. By the time, if y'all keep going the way y'all are now, it's just going to end up being just like the Hunger Games. We're going to be broken up into districts. One person is going to be over the head of everything and make us go fight and kill each other off. Because that's all that's happening now. It's not like we're not already killing each other off anyways. Out there having shootouts. First of all, gangs is one of the main reasons. Y'all out there in gangs shooting each other. Y'all all black. Y'all killing each other. So what right do you have to complain about a cop for coming to come and kill you?
You red, I'm blue.
Oh, right. Like, oh, what you over here? Why you wearing blue? Why you wearing blue? Because I felt like wearing blue. Blue is my favorite color. I like colors. I like all the colors of the rainbow. And I felt like blue today. That's why I'm wearing it. That's their problem. Everyone has these huge... It don't make sense. Y'all are making history repeat itself. They're going to come in, slaughter y'all, and just set it up exactly how they want it, and you're not going to be able... You have any problem with the way they're running things, then they're just going to kill you just because you said no, or just because you disagree with their opinion. Y'all are making this happen. If y'all don't want it to happen, do like Nazi said before. You comply with whatever when it comes to the cops. You keep your mouth shut. You go about your business. I'm not saying be shy, keep your head down, and don't have a voice, don't speak up. I'm not saying that. Definitely speak your mind. But be mindful and do it the smart way. Don't be out here acting stupid, stomping out cops in their cars like you look dumb. You look dumb.
Yeah. I feel like they have the Martin Luther King tried syndrome. Oh, well, he tried to peacefully protest. He tried to do this. He tried to do that.
And it would have worked. And it was worse. It was way worse.
Exactly. You ain't getting hosed down.
And it worked.
Killing people.
And he still managed to make a lot of progress.
Right. And
so
it worked.
you guys are just pretty much disrespecting him.
Exactly.
Slapping him in the face.
Yep.
Because if he was here, he'd be
undoing
pissed.
all the progress that
he did. Yep.
Because it didn't end 100%, and it wasn't 100%, resolved. It was a lot better.
Things take time.
Things started to, progress.
Yep. And it'll never be. Yeah.
But now, you walk into a store, not saying I do this because I'm not racist, but people walk into stores and they go, oh, white. What's all these crackers doing in here? What?
Oh my
because
God.
you in Whole Foods. White people shop
at Whole Foods.
Take your behind and stop and shop.
What you doing
Go
there?
to shop, right?
Hey, go to Walmart, wherever you want to go.
You don't want to see no white people? Take your behind to the hood because they ain't over there.
Another thing that annoys me about a lot of black people, I'm not going to say all because that is not true. A lot of black people is they go, if you walk past a white person, and you know how the white person gives a little fake smile. They kind of little cheese, whatever. And they get so mad. And they're like, oh my gosh, that was so fake. This and that and the third. Take it. That's more
Right.
than they was giving you before.
Right.
Get
You
what
ain't
you could
smile at
get.
them either.
Right. You didn't say hello, how are you?
Good morning,
You
good
didn't say
afternoon,
morning,
good
you didn't-
evening.
You didn't greet them either, but they gave you a little half smile, and you gonna complain about it? That's
Yeah,
more
like-
than what they
Yep.
gave you before.
Yep.
Because before they would have walked past you and punched you right in the face.
And it was nothing you
for
could
no
do about it.
reason.
So
So you better take that little half smile and put a smile on your face and keep it going.
Everybody's so emotional.
we're gonna wrap this up.
Yo, we'll be on here for another hour.
Yeah. So I think we had a good show, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We're gonna be hopefully getting the next show up soon, so tune in for that as well. We want to thank Chanel and Nazi for being our first special guest.
Everybody get their social media.
So give your social media so they can follow you.
Well, you can follow me on Snapchat, Rasta_dreads.
Say it one more
Snapchat,
time.
Rasta_dreads.
Let them
And
know
your
your Facebook, all that
His
stuff.
Instagram is the same.
Instagram is the same. Facebook, I don't even know what my username on Facebook is. Look
Nizy
me up
Jubriel.
at
Nazi Drubrio.
Nizeeh Jubril. That's Nizeeh. The middle name is not the last name. Jubril. Jubriel. Nizeeh Jubril on Facebook.
My Facebook is Chanel Marie, ChanelleMarie. My Snapchat is saucy_D, SAUCEY_D. My Instagram, I'll just post it because that is complicated.
You can find me at Daryltron on pretty much everything. So
Daryltron. You know, we should do that.
DARRELLTRON.
You can follow me
Make
on
it
Facebook.
one
It's pretty easy. David LC Dunn. You can get me on my Snapchat too. I forget what my Snapchat name is, so I'll just post it.
Leave
yeah.
your comments in below in the section. So I want to hear everybody's opinion on this topic.
Don't charge at us with guns if you don't agree.
And you can
Right.
also follow us on our YouTube channel, Done Talking.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Please subscribe.
And we also
Subscribe.
have our page on Facebook, correct?
Yeah, well, we still got the devil with that. I want people to go to the YouTube page.
Yeah,
I'll
we're
vote
going to
for
go
you.
to our YouTube page. So follow us
Make it
or
easy.
subscribe at Done Talking on YouTube.com. And also, you can be hearing us on our podcast channel, Done Talking. That'll be coming real soon as well. So thanks again for all who are listening, all who are watching on the videos. Thank you, and peace and love.